At this time, I would like to call to order the committee meetings
Just a
from...
minute. Lean back here.
A little bit echo?
Yeah.
Computer volume is up.
I know, just tell me to shut up. No, Gary, stay in your lane.
Okay. Just deal with the echo for a couple of minutes, and I know it'll get resolved. Committee meetings for Monday, June the 5th, 2023. Mr. Mark Weldon, do you want to wait for the echo to go away, or?
It doesn't matter.
All right, you have the floor. Mr. Mark Weldon is a principal at East Beauregard Elementary. If you would, please lead us in invocation and the pledge.
All right, please bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to come together tonight to serve the students of Beauregard Parish. We ask that you would grant our leaders the insight and wisdom to make decisions that are best for our students, that you grant them the humility to always seek your will in all that they say and do, and that you would help them to continue working together for the betterment of all our schools. And to that end, Lord, please help them to always keep the focus on our students, and that all their decisions be made with the purposeful intention to provide our students with positive opportunities, the necessary resources, and endless possibilities. In your name we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready?
Turn it over to Miss Cynthia Lafitte.
All right. I call to order the Finance Committee. I hear a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Got that, Ms. Archer? Motion carry. Any nays? Motion.
Second, Michael.
Mr. Archie? Oh, Mr. Redler. Sorry, Mr. Redler. Any opposed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's been a while. Motion carries. Okay, to consider approval of the minutes of the May 8th, 2023 Finance Committee as written. I think you've had those minutes. Any corrections? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Julie made a motion. Second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Thibodeau seconded. Opposed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Abstain due to absence.
Okay. Oh, and Mr. Archie abstained, so.
You want to
Okay.
abstain?
To receive financial reports for the prior month, Ms.
Mr. Sanders?
I'll abstain as well.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I don't want to start today over again. Okay, so in your packets, you have received the hard copies of your financial documents. I also sent them to you via email as well. We'll go through these fairly quickly. There hasn't been too much change. On page 2 is our general fund as we are coming to a close for the fiscal year. I am pretty excited that we have stayed within our expenses and we are within our expense to revenue ratios, and we are looking at the possibility of adding to the reserve of our general fund. To date, we have collected with all of our revenues the $37,361,470, and our year-to-date expense $32,040,757. So I don't want you to look at that as that's going to be a $5 million addition to the revenue, because we still have encumbered expenses on that bottom half of that page. Turning to your next section of funds on page 4, ad valorem. We're pretty excited on this one as well because we originally forecasted around $9 million. We did a revision to bring us up to right around 10 million. And we are almost at $11 million in revenues for our ad valorem funds. On that side, without looking at any of June's revenues on this fund as well, with our expenses as well, we are looking to add to the reserve as well with our ad valorem. But like I said before, exact figures on both of these carryover reserve funds have not been determined just yet.
Ms. Carpenter, what percentage do we have to do a
Revision?
Revision.
5%.
5%.
So I'm going to be presenting the revision in August.
Okay.
That's going to be the best bet for us to close our fiscal year out in June, get everything together in July, and then present in August. Turning to our sales tax funds, which is on pages 7 and 8. Since December, collections, we're going to look at this as two separate halves of the year. So the first half of the year compared to this half of the year, collections have decreased by about 1.7%. But I did recently send out the sales tax disbursement email to the parish staff and to all of you as well. I was pleased to announce that as on June 15th, the gross amount that's going to be dispersed to certified staff will be $5,564.35. To our support staff will be $3,709.57. And to our retirees, $722.90. Also in that email to our staff of Beauregard Parish, many of them had been asking to see the disbursement total, what was paid out for the insurance rebate. I sent them those numbers as well. To also include the total certified employees, which was 529 at this current date, total of 343 support employees, and 648 retirees. I didn't send it to all of you, but when we had gone, there was a lot of questions in the past as how sales tax was calculated, so I put together a fun little PowerPoint presentation and sent that to the parish as well. I got a lot of feedback. They were very excited and happy to get that, showing them how I calculate it, and it brought some enlightenment to a lot of the parish to see the spreadsheet that is figured, as well as Mr. Ensminger's lovely formula that we have to use algebra for. Moving along to parish-wide debt, there has been no change to that. That is on page 10. I do want to bring your attention to school food service on page 12. When I added my revenues on this page, I accidentally copied my revenues to show that all local, state, and federal had received around $39,000, but I do want you all to make a correction to that. Your local sources, in the month of May, we collected, do y'all have writing utensils? $814.05. For our state sources, we received $39,566. And our federal sources, we received $201,045. And I'll have those numbers after the meeting if you want to rewrite those as well. And brings us to bond, our last page. I'll let you all look that over and see if you have any questions regarding that.
Actually, I have a question. So, I don't really know what are the rules in terms of the bond money that we receive, and so it's tens of millions of dollars, right? And so, is the best way to, a lot of CDs and whatnot are getting 5% for a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month, that kind of thing. are we allowed to move that into something like that to get a little bit higher return on that money, or can we not invest that money in the short term?
I'd have to look into it. It currently is sitting in a high interest bearing savings account where it sits right now.
Do you have any clue off the top of your head what that high interest number is?
No, because when that was opened, the bonding attorney actually assists us with where that money goes to get us those rates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know if
we're earning it.
we probably can't do a CD.
I don't think we can do a
Yeah, I
CD.
mean, I was just using that as an
You can't
example.
pull the
Money
money
market?
from a CD until it's,
Matured, right? So, yeah, but.
Money market account. though.
Yeah. So there's some that are 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and then there's some that have no penalties. If there is an emergency and you have to pull it, or so. Anyway, I was just curious.
yeah. It's, that's when we sit down with Mr. Schluter next month, he's gonna let us know where we can put this next one as well, as far as what the interest that we're gonna be able to gain on that as well. I can get, every month it's different. I look and see where we're going every month. Every month it's changing because of what the market's looking
Sure.
like with this one, so.
Well, and this bond's a little bit different than the last bond, because the last bond we had large projects, and so it took quite a long time to really get into some of those funds, because of planning and whatnot. Whereas this current bond, we have a lot of smaller projects, so it may not work out. We may need the money quicker, but I just wanted to at least be thinking through that.
Well, with this, what I end up doing is I let the money sit, because at the end of the year, it's easier and for more traceability to let this money sit for the entire fiscal year. At the end of the year, see what we have what we have spent, then move that money into our main money market account payable. That way, this high interest bearing is accruing that interest throughout the year, and then move it for what we've already paid out from our main money market. Because our money market doesn't earn any interest. Any other questions on that bond sheet? Okay. I do not have anything else to put out as far as the financial statements. You did receive the check register in your email. I'm not gonna print that out unless you ask me, because it's quite a bit of pages and I don't wanna waste the paper.
Ms. Lafitte, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Ms. Carpenter, can you send out that PowerPoint to us as well?
Yeah,
Sure.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
The first part that you did was such a great step. I'd like to see that too.
Okay, I can do that. I'll send that to all of you.
Thank you very much for doing that.
You're very welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, number 3, to consider awarding bid for bread and bakery products for school cafeterias for 23-24 school year. So Ms. Kelly, you got the rest of these?
Yes, 3 through 8 are
Okay.
mine. Cool. These did not go in your packet that was sent out earlier, so it was on the table when y'all came in. Mr. Green and Mr. Bowman know what we're looking at. In the way of these from last year, yes. So I can just go down the list if you want.
That'd be fine.
Okay. The first one is the bread and the bakery bid that was opened on May 19th for the 2023-24 school year. The dates run from 7/1/23 through 6/30/2024. For the bread bid, I recommend awarding all of the listed items to Flowers. These sheets are what we use when we get the bids in. It lists the items that the cafeterias, that Ms. Terry orders for the cafeterias. And it lists if you have more than one vendor send in a bid, it lists them all. And then the ones highlighted are who we are recommending to go with.
Is there just no one that wanted to
Yes,
put in
we
another
only-
bid?
Yes, we only
Bread?
have, we received one bid for the bread.
Do we have to vote on each of these separately?
No, on Thursday's meeting, we can combine them.
Combine them all, okay.
Not today.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the bid red bid. Am I saying two
Yes.
flowers? Okay.
Yes.
Motion.
Okay, Mr. Shirley made a motion. Is there a second? Mr. Archibald, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will go to
All
the
right, the next one's the milk.
milk bid.
This one was also opened on May 19th. They all run the same time. And I recommend awarding the all listed items to Midstate.
Well, if Mr. Manuel was here, he'd ask you if it's the good chocolate milk.
Yes.
Is it the good chocolate milk?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The issues that we have seen have been addressed.
All right.
And yes.
Yeah, so that would be my question, as far as the prices, right, they speak for themselves, but as far as the service, the quality, everything is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's, what's a shame is and I understand why sugars and all that, but like my kids personally, they love milk.
Mhm.
They won't drink the cafeteria milk. So, and it's just because it's just a little too light in terms of
Is
the
it?
flavor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, it just tastes more like water than milk, so.
is that because the 1% and fat-free and all that?
Yeah, like I said, it's just because it's lower fat, lower sugar,
sugar,
okay. And which,
Less flavor for them.
so, yeah.
Is that
It's not the dairy up the road that's like
Okay.
melted ice cream,
Yes.
so.
I mean, is that a requirement that we have to do, the 1% and all that?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Interesting. That flows into
Well, it's just,
childhood.
it's frustrating because the whole point is like we want our kids to eat healthy meals, but they won't eat it or
They
drink it.
won't eat it or
you know,
drink
so-
it because it doesn't have that. Oh,
This is
interesting.
also included in your packet. Ms. Terry printed this off, and this is what, it states what is included and what needs to have, or what we need to have in the child nutrition programs. So it breaks up the changes for grains, sodium, and milk. So it does say it has to be 1% milk.
Interesting. It is interesting.
What was the change in the milk?
The milk hasn't changed.
Oh, okay.
We can actually do the 1% flavored milk, but Borden's and Oak Farm, neither one have been able to supply it.
Yeah.
So we're still stuck with the fat-free. And USDA is right now trying to even limit more of the sugar in the milk.
This,
We're actually trying to fight that so that it can at least stay the same, but they haven't made a ruling yet on that. So for this year, this is,
I'm just curious, has there been a study on the waste, like the unused, like we have so much, so like what we're wasting versus if we upgraded and they would use the
can't.
waste?
we get funding from USDA and the federal government, so we have to follow these guidelines. That 201,000 that Ms. Ashley presented, that's from federal reimbursement, a monthly federal reimbursement. If we choose not to follow these guidelines, we won't get that money. So the general fund will have to pay all of this.
I guess I'm talking if we still follow that, but we upgrade to the Oak Farms, which is maybe a better,
Oak Farms is the same, they're the same.
Try to buy you.
It's the same bill.
I know,
Same
well, I'm just
formulation.
wondering if, I mean, the price is different,
But I drink cold.
but the flavor or the, might be better to the kids and it would be less waste and they may consume it more.
The formulation on the meal is the same amount of sugar in Oak Farms as there is in Borden's. All of that's same across the board. Oak Farms is just more expensive. And that's honestly why we have to go through the bid process, is because of that. Because Oak Farms is not really better, it's more expensive.
I know my generic ice cream has the same ingredients as my Bluebell does, but my Bluebell tastes a whole lot better than my generic.
Taste test next year.
I'm just.
A lot more love in that Bluebell.
A lot more, yeah.
A lot of love in our cafeteria, though.
Loving the Oak Farms and not as much waste, but hey, I trust you. That's what you say.
Well, and we did have Oak Farms and the consumption was the same.
Same. Okay, do I hear a motion to? Mr. Redler made a motion.
I'm ready.
Mr. Redler, I want to say my words.
We want you to work that hard.
Let me second something.
Mr. Sandifer seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. We are now to the produce, is that what? Frozen.
This bid was opened on May 31st. It was a week later. Same dates, same run-through dates for next year. I recommend awarding the bid for Frozen to the items listed.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yes, so there's
Oh.
two vendors.
There's two, okay.
The yellow under William George, those that are yellow, I recommend awarding those listed items to William George. The ones under Lamb, I recommend awarding those to Lamb. They were all listed separately, so William George was lower on some, Lamb was lower on the others. So being that we have to go with the lowest bid, that's what
That's what
it is. On this sheet, I listed by line number,
Got you,
what
yeah.
ones go with what.
So you want to go with William first? That'd be first bid.
I think you can just,
If you
Or
could
as
just make the
presented.
motion
No,
to
As right. presented.
agree.
As
Yeah,
presented.
presented, yeah.
Right.
So in the future, you can put a Group A or Group B, and that might make it a little clearer
Okay.
for the motion.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second? Mr. Redler, seconded? Okay. All in favor, say aye to the
Aye.
frozen? Okay, motion carries. All right, the produce bid.
Produce bid was opened on May 19th. And I recommend awarding all listed items to William George.
Do I hear a motion to approve William George for the produce?
Make a motion.
Mr. Arshield, second. Mr. Shirley, first, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Staples.
Staples. This bid was opened on May 31st. And we'll do William George as Group A. I recommend awarding Group A to William George and Group B to Lamb.
Do I hear a motion to approve
I'm
this?
gonna make a motion.
Mr. Sandifer, do I hear a second?
I'll
Had to
second.
get in there.
Mr. Neely, Ms. Neely, second. Do I hear, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And the last one is paper.
Paper. This bid was opened on May 19th, and I recommend awarding the listed items in Group A to West Central and in Group B to William George.
So I do have just one question. When you stated that you had to go with the lower price. That's constant throughout all of them.
Yes.
So that's a mandatory,
When you go out for bid, you have to take the lowest price.
so no matter
The
what
lowest.
what the quality is, what the,
So where does that come from?
It's the
We
same,
put specs out.
Because-
We
because-
specify what we want.
an item with the milk, to go back on it, was a lot of the times, it's expired or essentially expired, right? And that's a lot of the reason why it's spoiling to the process where the kids don't want to drink it too, so I mean,
We did have an issue with that, and I did contact the company because we were getting some milk that it was actually in date, but it was spoiling. So we pointed out that they probably may have problems with their trucks. So they started temping their trucks once we pointed it out to them, and we quit having that issue. But we did have that issue this year, but we try to stay on top of any issues like that and make the company aware. And
And
they
the-
usually fix it, and they reimburse us for that milk, and they promptly bring more
Yeah.
milk out to us.
I just asked because being forced to take the lower price, the company's gonna cut corners, right? To save on their costs, and they wanna, make that money back somehow, so their quality seems to to suffer.
Who's
as well.
forcing us? Is that something that we have put in place? We put that in?
It's a public bid law.
How much?
And there's no way around that
No,
bid
the public.
process.
No.
We have to go through that process.
You would have to have some very substantial legal footing
Right.
to not take a.
And one thing that we are looking at this year is putting a contract in place with them. Mr. Holly actually has that contract right now, so once this is awarded, we will have them sign off on that. And it actually will give us a venue where if they don't meet all of the obligation that they've signed on to, we can actually roll to the other bidder.
Yeah, because this gives the, this gives the look that we actually have a vote in there. Really, we don't.
Yeah.
We just, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I had a question too. So we have to take the lowest, is that per line item,
Yes,
per bid?
per line
My
item.
question was if we could do so what's the total of West Central's bid for all these paper bids? And what is William George's total for all that? Could you go off lowest bid by total, or it's got to be line item?
We do line items on those. The meal is all or nothing.
Yeah, I do like that, though.
Yeah.
Maybe by awarding everything to a company, they would give a better price overall, right?
I was thinking more of a accounting headache as different vendors.
Yeah,
and all
that too.
stuff but
Yeah.
I was
We've
just curious. I mean,
we've actually looked into some of the companies that actually do give an all-around bid on everything that the school has. It would cost us substantially more to do that, and because we have a warehouse we can't warehouse all these items, and we don't have these drivers that can go. We have to use vendors that can actually deliver to our schools because of the way that we're set up. So that's why we usually have Lamb and William George, and sometimes we'll have Reinhardt or another company, but they have to provide the delivery. And that's the way that we have everything. That's what we have, how we have to do it.
Overall, as a parish, the schools pleased overall with the service and everything?
Price-wise, we come out about the same because I've compared, because other people have asked about that too. So I've made comparisons. And overall, with all of the overhead costs that we would have if we did it the other way, we're coming out basically the same.
I do have a question, especially with our like refrigerated items, like milk and in my business, our distributor is required to give us so much time before that product expires, so that we can get rid of it. Yeah, that's what ours is. Okay, so we do have, so our milk.
On the bill.
Yeah, so milk, for example, we should be getting that with 2 weeks ago, and if we do not have that, we're rejecting
We
it,
let
correct?
them know.
Yeah.
As long as the trucks are regulated at a good temperature.
Yeah, well, I mean,
We let
yeah, I
them
mean.
know and they replace it.
So back on that grouping bids together, they might not use very much antioxidant, but they might use a lot of apple slices. And they don't know the quantity going into it as to how to make that come together either.
Yeah, I was just curious.
But no, all of those, the other bids, besides milk and bread, the rest of them are line by line.
Okay.
What do we do when we don't have a bid? Like number 2, muffin cups. How do we,
Just on supply.
It's like bacon muffin cups. There's no bid for either one of those.
you'll order those separate?
Yes, Terry will order those
Okay.
ourselves.
So I'll just have to order those.
We'll have to order.
Whenever we need them.
That law by going out for bid. We got the law by going out for bid. There's no bidder, so
There's no
it falls on
bid.
us
You can't do that.
Falls on y'all to
shop.
We're
to
not
get
gonna
on.
buy
Just an off-the-wall
ethics.
$50,000 worth of muffin cups.
Keep me in.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the paper bid?
Ma'am.
Mr. Thibodeau, second.
Second.
Marshall, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Can it not carry? Gotta carry.
Okay. All right, to consider revision of the teacher salary schedule and the support salary schedule effective July 1st. Ms. Carpenter, Mr. Holly?
Okay, I guess I can lead as far as where we're at right now. Last month, we looked at percentage raises, 1% for support, 1% for teachers, and a 10, 20, 30% raise based on certifications within our maintenance department for specialized certifications, HVAC, electrician, and so on. The state has been inconsistent with providing us opportunity to give support and teachers raises. There has been consideration of different House bills, different things that's gone through. After talking with Mr. Reese and then Mr. Carrier, Mr. Greg Guyman, we feel confident that when session is over at the end of this month, there is going to be an opportunity for a $2,000 stipend to be given to certified/teachers and a $1,000 for support personnel. That is not on June 5th as of today. So what we're looking at in a general budget, and I will go ahead and say a 1% for either support or for teacher salary, it disappears within the year. So I do believe that a 1% to the support staff needs to be built in, probably needs to be built in over the course of several years, just to continue to build that base pay. However, as it's been pointed out to me, $42 a month in your check and then you don't see it. So after visiting with several board members and teachers and support personnel, a stipend to both groups, removing the 1% from the teachers and providing a stipend at some point throughout the year from us in hand would be more of a boon than raising a percentage and it showing up within your check each month, being basically eaten up by taxes or whatever you're paying out. So with that being said, I feel like as superintendent that we need to reward our teachers and reward our support. So have a opportunity to give a one-time supplement that we can give from the parish, see where the state brings us at the end of their legislative session with the potential to have more, and to raise at least 1% with our support personnel with an opportunity of a supplement throughout the year from us as well. I've been visiting back with Ms. Carpenter. She feels like we can do this and do this well within our budget. That's just my thoughts.
When will the supplement come out?
I would like to wait and see what the state does, so we can really, we've got all of this budgeted within our current physical budget.
The budget that was presented to you all that's sitting right now.
So if the state, whether they go through reimbursement, okay, so there has been talk of taking what monies they were going to give to teachers, placing that into our retirement systems, Lessers and TRSL. TRSL and Lessers would credit us what percentage was paid into them. After speaking with a representative of TRSL, they said it would be somewhere between 3.2 to 3.6%. That translates into around 2,000, and the Lessers 1,000. So that was one avenue. After discussion moved from the House floor to the Senate, they are now just talking about just the lump sum, just making it available for local districts as well to just provide. Now, this is not sustainable. We're talking 1 year. This is, we've been here, if you've been in education, this is where the state typically leaves us. However, I do know that Mr. Reese said that the MFP, I don't know which MFP because I wasn't able to find it, was voted on to increase, which if the MFP dollars that are paid to us will increase, then that also increases our general fund budget. So after we come out of legislation and we see what those increases are going to be, once we receive our first half of the MFP money, which happens after October 1st count, there could be an opportunity for even greater one-time supplement. So it may not be 500, it may be 600. That is just a potential. So, Mr. Senator, to address your question, at some point during the year, having been a teacher 13 years, December 19th to January 30th is the longest time of the year. Because you're paid on my last day of Christmas, and you don't get your next check to the end of January. I would like to do it somewhere around the first of the year, just to help our people.
So just so I heard that correctly, so there's not going to be a true stipend applied to the teachers or support salary
From the state or from us?
from the state and from us?
You talking about on an ongoing basis? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, a true stipend, right?
Yeah.
Reoccurring.
Or
you know.
true raise.
No, sir, there's not.
One
I mean,
time.
Okay, so,
So this from the state is one time.
One time.
one time. From us, I would like for us, I think we can, based on our current budget, if we can do it this year, and we continue, or if MFP increases, we can do it each year. Just with the teacher groups that I've talked to and support, the stipend always is a better sample. So the salary is going to go up as levels increase. You're going to have that level increase. But putting in $500 or a 1% into a yearly contract, that money disappears. If I wake up Friday morning, there's $200 additional dollars in the bank account, I can go spend it.
66, I
and,
believe.
and I agree to that. I agree, and those discussions make sense to me. Now, in life, because I had a different understanding of the state, what they were going to be proposing. I thought that was going to be a reoccurring
As
stipend.
did I.
Well, this is,
So now we're back to not giving a raise at
True
all.
raise.
Right, so,
now, Mr. Sanford, this is where the confusion sets in. Once it leaves the House, it was told to us that it was one time. While it's in the Senate, it said, now, this is the one I can nail no one down particularly, because it has to all go before the governor. It could be a possibility, back to the percentages on the tax credit, but up to 2027, that was a term, a number that I heard. Now, I will say this, and this is not official, I'm in a group of superintendents' text messages. And every single one of them, when we talked about what would you do with this money, no one is putting it into its salary schedule because they're super afraid that it's going to be one time.
I'll be able to sustain it.
yeah, even us, we would want them to aid in that supplement every year, you know?
So you're saying, I'm like Mr. Sandiford, say it one more time. So no, the 1%, the salary schedule will stay the same
Teachers.
for teachers, but you'll
We'd
have a
like to build the
1%
1% in.
for the support staff. But for teachers, the salary schedule will stay the same, and we'll do a stipend from December to January, somewhere in there.
Well, let's be careful of how we use stipend, because stipend is reoccurring. So,
No, stipend
No,
is a
stipend
one-time.
Stipend is not reoccurring.
A raise.
A raise, a
by
raise.
definition, you'll want to review that. And the stipend is a reoccurring.
No, a raise is what we have to continue. If we do a 1% raise for teachers, that has to be, yeah.
Well, I mean,
But a
I think-
stipend is a
Look at
one-time.
The, what is
I
the
did look
law
it up.
that Tammy is always referring back to 2013? Where we went from experience to levels. The definition of a stipend is in there.
Well, I mean, I think technology aside, we all understand what we're talking about. We're talking about,
Well, we don't,
like-
well, I just want to be sure, though. I don't want them to think that.
yeah.
They go look up a stipend and they think that, oh, this is
Yeah,
going
I
to be
mean,
a
I don't
reoccurring
know,
every
it's
year.
very-
We definitely will make sure by Thursday night.
A stipend is a one-time event. And as far in my, that, to define stipend for what we're doing,
Well, I mean, but again,
But we
let's
can
just not
review
get
it
caught up
later.
on that.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
point is, it's like,
Okay.
I think we're all kind of understanding that we're talking about a one-time $500 payment, bonus,
okay,
whatever you want
bonus,
to call it,
whatever you want to
And
call it.
building
the
that
supplement.
into the support.
and then build
And
that
then
plus the
1%
1%.
raise for support staff.
So support, we get 1% and the stipend?
Yes, we need to get our support away from minimum wage. Some of those are still on minimum wage salaries.
So
And
will
if
the
we
sup-
give them that, if we give that support 1%.
1%.
We're getting some of those salaries
Awesome.
away from 1%.
Will they also get the one-time bonus or
The $500 stipend?
500 stipend?
Yes, that's what the stipend is.
I didn't hear you say that.
There is other thing I'd like to address in full transparency, 10, 20, and 30 for our maintenance people. That money has been budgeted for that allowance to be, however, we have, our maintenance people work very hard. There's only a few that carry any kind of certifications. However, there is no performance evaluation for that position. So in the field of maintenance workers, there may be some who are carrying the load or more load or lesser load than some of the other people. So when you compare those, after we had our last meeting and pushed this till this month, lot of feedback came back from a lot of our support. You're here looking at someone doing a job, XYZ, with no performance evaluation, you're looking at a 10 or 20, or even 30% raise. So I would like, since this money has been budgeted, some time for Mr. Green, Ms. Ashley, Ms. Crane, and myself to look at possibly changing some maintenance job descriptions to certify people so that we can fix their payment just, I am an electrician, I'm a certified electrician, and that's what I apply for with Bibb Boulevard Parish. If I'm maintenance, that means I'm coming to work with none, or to even have a performance evaluation given to the maintenance foreman and to the maintenance supervisor, that if you have worked within your year and made your, whatever our marks are, then there could be a 10% supplement given to you after you have made your evaluation. So now we are rewarding the hard work, and we are encouraging people to come work for us, but we're not looking at someone who might have been in a position who slips off the radar, so to speak. Or we want to motivate people to do the very best. And in every job, we have those who do it regardless of what they're paid. We have those who, we just want to make it fair for them. So if the board will allow for us to work on those two possibilities over the next month or so, we can come back and then decide what we want to do.
Are you also gonna work on, say like for maintenance, you got some gonna be retired, qualifying air conditioners, electrician, comparing to?
Yes, sir, that was what and I'll go over it again, say it one more time, just for even myself. We have huge needs. I'll just use air conditioner, Mr. Arshil.
Okay.
Okay, we have went through 4 or 5 certified air conditioner employees within the last 12 months. They come to work, they go to work, they do a good job, but they realize at the end of the first couple of months that their hard work could be making them more money elsewhere.
Right.
So Mr. Green has worked very hard. I know he has come to several of you about looking at a percentage raise. But in the same token, 10, 20, and 30% raise, I agree with it if the work's being done, but there's nothing to hold them accountable for. Teachers have evaluations, supervisors have evaluation that somebody is overseeing. We want to make it fair. So either A, we change the job description from maintenance to PSB certified HVAC, or we have 2 layers of evaluations, and that 10%, if this is a possibility, could be paid out on your level 1 for after your evaluation is successful. Just some options for us to look, but I do want to make it fair for all of our support personnel and also for all of our.
So you're not against the 10, 20, 30. You just want to have a little bit more in terms of evaluation and oversight, accountability.
I do, because our maintenance people are on our sites, and I can vouch for everyone. I know they work hard. But just like our computer technicians, and I'll step away from there, they work very hard, but whenever it's all about, and I'll use this word, it's about optics. Okay? So if they are at a site and they are not working hard, and it's repeatedly working hard, and we're talking about somebody getting a 30% raise, and they're at site locations, and custodians are looking, secretaries are looking, teachers are looking. Well, Larry Holly was out back yesterday, and I don't think he did anything while he was there. And so if we're going to look at creating a large difference from our support based on the need of having a certification or having a skill set, I think accountability needs to be present. Either you're going to hire on as a plumber at PSB with the expectations of a comparable rate to what you would see in other industries, or you're going to have to meet performance evaluation marks by your immediate supervisor and your school level or district level supervisor. And then if you've done so, then we're here.
But we're talking about essentially new employees with the certified plumber, and
Well, if we have a
existing
certified,
employees that you would be looking at getting a raise to retain them, correct?
correct. Just the way to get there that makes it fair for all. Just need some time to work out.
Figure out how to
Yeah.
put in place. Do we have, because I know we struggle with them, do we have people that are qualified to do those kind of performance evaluations? I know we have them overall, but we have them specific plumber, HVAC, you know what I'm saying? Do we
Ms.
have?
Neely, as far as what I would look for in that, and I haven't done that so far, but as a homeowner, if you built a home, then you're more on your expectations of, has the job been done to my specifications? Are you on time to work? Are you addressing your work orders? Are you talking to the people that you are performing the work for? Or are you reporting back to your supervisor? Is your location known? Are you utilizing open POs correctly? Are you following through? Are things that are being bought, are they being returned back to the warehouse? All these things that, just in my mind seems like checkpoints. And then the supervisors like Mr. Green and Mr. Hickman can go to the schools, because when they walk on schools, that's when principals, teachers grab them and say, hey, this has been leaking for 6 months. We need to fix, or hey, Ms. Archer's air conditioner is still not fixed from 2 weeks ago when the work order went in. So all of those things can be tracked along, and I think we can get a pretty good idea of how our people are meeting those needs, and we reward them accordingly.
So would these be one-time increases? How would the,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just asking for time. If it's a performance evaluation, then we would look at a percentage of that 10%. What we would do, we would make the salary comparable. I personally would like to see job descriptions change for certified personnel and look at a different type of salary support within those ranges for our carpenters who may not hold a degree but work very, very hard. So it's one of those cat and horn things, the more I pull at it, but I wasn't happy just looking at 10, 20, 30 blanket. I will say, I don't know if you received the feedback, but from the last meeting, we didn't address the percentages, and it seemed like we were skipping over them, is what I was told. And that's not, I don't believe that's what we were doing, but I'm making very clear tonight, we're going to do our best to oversee this and make it beneficial to all.
But for certified personnel, new hires, that salary will go up.
I say absolutely. And as their level increases, then it will go to the next tier. But-
And what percentage would that go up for certified? Are we looking at a 10, 20, 30% right off?
With experience, yes, sir. So you could come in as an HVAC, 15 years in the parish, 15 years experience. If you can verify that you meet probably level 3. I won't speak out of turn, so I don't want to correct myself. But you'll come in at what the salary is plus 30%, which would put you close to the $45 an hour an HVAC is making right now.
Do we have the ability to train up the personnel we have, give them schooling and training for certification and stuff like that?
I would absolutely love to do that. Ms. Hickenbottom and myself, as well as Ms. Smith, are looking at partnering, working very diligently with ABC Pelican. I would like, what my goal, and I'll just share this here since we're talking, is to create a CTE center here in our city, in our parish, where we bring in the industry and we build our own within the house. And so there are opportunities for us to bring in someone who just wants to work and to put them through the training. I know Mr. Green has met with Ms. Carpenter about possibilities. I am absolutely behind that, making that happen. And if we have a high school person who's already got some work going in, and we pay their ABC or their tuition to a vocation, their certification, then they give 3, 4, 5 years to our parish as per our contract. And now we never lack for those positions. We have a steady rotation, and hopefully we can do right by them where they stay, and we have master plumbers and we have master electricians.
Well, that's what,
Keep them
PCA,
in-house
for years,
training.
their apprenticeship program, it keeps them here at home, it keeps them involved in the company. Mr. Hickman and Mr. Green are very good at what they do. I just was wanting to, I guess basically, so they would be kind of the ones that would be overlooking these new job descriptions and these new evaluations and those kind of
Of
things.
course, the job descriptions, I would have certified masters, right, look at what we typed up and tweak it, so it looks like they were hiring. We went to Mr. Shirley's plumber. And he's a master plumber. What's he expecting in a journeyman or an apprentice, a level 1, a level 2, a level 3? He would use that verbiage and we would go from there. As far as evaluations, if I would hope that the performance marks will be set in a manner that we could evaluate. You know, the work, if the work's being done and it's done correctly, we don't need to look at that, it's just being done, we did it. But if it's not, then that's going to show up as well as in not included.
That's right, yeah. The evaluation's in the work product.
Yeah, I would really encourage you to look into the performance evaluations. It's just one more tool that Mr. Green and these oversight people have to make sure that these employees are putting out
Yes, sir.
proper,
Mr. Holly,
effort.
maybe you can answer this and maybe you can't, but do you know why we don't have that in place already?
I don't know, Mr. Kibido, I do know when I came on in 2012, 2014, if I'm not mistaken, we had a custodial evaluation in place for the first time because we were having problems with custodians meeting their expectations. It was my understanding that each year an additional support section was going to have another evaluation set, evaluation form set up. I don't know what happened, outside out of mind. You know, for me, custodial was, if it was secretarial, if it was admin, I could go directly. I wasn't always in the classroom, so that was the useful tool. Now that we're moving into the maintenance, I see a need for it to probably be almost in every situation.
Yes.
So that could be something I talked with Ms. Crane about and continue to build that book of evaluation.
So, I mean, I come from a maintenance background, so it makes sense to me, but through this whole talk, I keep trying to put myself into those teachers' shoes. And we can do this for the maintenance people, and I know we can't right now, but we basically tell them, we're going to give you a reoccurring maybe from the state every year. And it's a bad position for us to be in, and it sucks. I just want to make everybody aware of that.
Well, that's why I was visiting the raise again.
Just thinking out loud, you know,
Yeah.
we're talking HVAC, and I know it's not apples to apples, but $45 an hour came out, might be the standard for HVAC. But, you know, I'm looking at teachers, and, you know, I want to get them up, definitely. I want to take care of everybody, is my thinking. But if we're looking at roughly 47,000, you're talking about $22.71 an hour for teachers, broken out over 2,080 hours. Now, you see, so I'm all for looking at how we can get everybody up. You know, our teachers, of course, Louisiana, as we all know, is the lowest in the nation.
Yeah, we're rocking that 49 position pretty hard.
So just throwing it out there.
Well, I'm for whatever you guys decide to do. I do know that when we talked 1% last month, if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of thrown out as opposed to paying a supplement in lieu of that 1% for teachers. So that's kind of the direction that my mind was going.
Yep.
And I know I heard Mr. Sandifer say you want to revisit the raise again. We can't,
We've got to make, and I understand, we've got to, I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut, we've got to make, and I understand on the raises, we've got to make sure, and that was one reason I'm a huge push proponent for stipends or bonuses, because we've got to make sure we can sustain whatever we build in, correct? And that's what I'm
Yep.
also thinking about support as well, going forward. Tax revenues are going to drop back down eventually. We're in the middle of unprecedented. Prices are up, taxes collections up. What happens when we go down? So that's kind of how my mind is trying to wrap around it.
So let me
And
ask, go ahead. I have one question. I've let y'all talk, so I have one question. Okay. So we're not going to do a 1% on this salary schedule is what you're saying. We're going to do a stipend or a bonus.
We just,
Teachers.
A one-time
Okay.
payment.
One-time payment. I'm fine with that. I'm thinking of, as your word, optics. A new teacher looking at moving to Beauregard Parish. That salary schedule is not, they're going to still look at that old salary schedule. What I really liked about the 1% for the teachers, and I understand that it's very little they'll recognize, but the optics, of this 1% on this is, you know, I like that. It goes from this 39,000 to 40,000, which just the optics of this at least makes us look like we're a little bit better in the state as far as that goes. Is there any way to still do the 1% that has to be sustained from now on, correct? But we still could do a one-time bonus during the year. Still do the 1% and still do,
If I'm not mistaken,
I
cannot
cannot say
do
that. I
that.
can do both of
the
those.
1% for both levels with a 10, 20, 30 left a general fund balance of $183,000.
okay.
Yes.
But I do agree with
Ms.
Mr.
Lee.
Pinto, because the idea of the one-time supplement, I love, and I still love it, right? But that was also with the state pitching in, and maybe that would have been my misunderstanding of a reoccurring every year change to the salary.
I was kind of under the idea.
So now we're not,
reoccurring too.
so now we're not building, we're not only establishing a higher salary rate, but we're not building on what you said, to keep building on that as well, right? So there are concerns about the tax revenue and us being able to maintain that every year, but the reason we were visiting this salary anyway was to do just that.
To do just that.
Was to change that. You know, try to promote that outside of Beauregard Parish, to get teachers in, get them looking at it, you know, and with the ones that are here already, you know, they've earned it, right? So I know a supplement's the same amount, but they can't count on that every year. But if we introduce a 1% raise, they know they're seeing that every year from here on out.
I don't think it's a reoccurring one.
It
I'm
will
not
be
saying
1%
every year, right.
This salary, this 1% is going to be added to this salary right now. It's not going to be another 1% next year.
No,
because
it's
this
not.
No,
No.
sir. This is
Same
what
thing.
this current budget can afford.
And the
This is
one time
because
makes more
we are
sense.
not getting anything from a legislative increase at all. This is what,
And we can't do a 1% ourselves.
this is the 1%
That
So
ourselves.
no,
is-
what I'm saying reoccurring though.
No, we cannot, because we don't have any, our expenses are going up and our revenues are not.
Wait, let me clarify this.
Yes.
We're not talking about an additional 1% next year. We're talking about maintaining
The
this
1%.
1%.
Yeah.
Which one are,
That's what I'm talking about.
if we give a 1%
Right, it's
now,
gonna stay
we'll.
1%, but we're not
Okay.
gonna keep adding 1%,
Okay.
1%, 1% every year.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
wasn't
what I-
talking about
It would
adding.
say, so if we made,
So the 1% doesn't go away.
It's not going to be a cost.
no.
Oh, okay.
You cannot take away, once you give a raise, you cannot take
That's-
it away. It's against
Right,
the law. But if you look at the salary schedule where we'll just say at that original one, the bachelor's degree at 0 years where it's the 40,171, we would maintain this one for school year 23, 24,
right.
24, 25, and so on
Right.
and so forth. We can safely maintain this right now because we don't know what legislature's gonna do with level 1 MFP and level 2 MFP. We don't know what they're doing with level 4 either because they're still meeting right now.
I used the wrong verbiage. I said reoccurring, what I meant was that 1% staying.
Sustained,
Yes.
sustained.
Yep, okay, good, thank you, right.
Put the right governor in office.
I know, Mr. Holly, that, I'm just calling my little teachers, my teachers at our school, they like the bonuses, because like you said, they see it in
Get it
large
into
sums. That's the same thing you were saying versus, $40 a month, and then you get taxed, and then you get this and retirement and everything else, and you get $12. And like they just got $5,000 the other, and so my phone was like, yippee-yay. So,
But
I
that,
see it.
but that one-time payment this year is not promised for the next year.
For next year.
But the 1% increase
Is promised.
Is promised.
is staying.
Is
And
stable.
So that's the reason I would like to look at that.
And if we're looking at the one-time payment looks more like a short-term solution, whereas the 1%
It's
is
a
is a
long-term,
long-term.
right.
I want what's best for all of our people. I'm 100% behind what-
Ryan, what's your thoughts on that, now that,
Well, it would just fall on us to do what we say we're going to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's the problem, is that there's just not a lot of trust built in that we can talk about it all day long. And I believe that every person in here would just, for the next 3 years, 4 years would vote to do that. But at the same time,
We haven't gone trust.
Yeah, we haven't earned it. So that's the
But like Ms. Lafitte
Tough
said,
part.
though, once that number's increased, it's there.
It's
And-
there.
And optically, it looks different. 39,000 may look like 40,000 or 41,000, right? It's a little bit different, right? Optically, it makes a difference.
But you can give them 500 in the 23-24 school year, but you have to remember in the 24-25, if the MFP doesn't change, they're gonna still be at 39. That bachelor of
That's
theory.
right, right.
I mean, it's whatever y'all wanna do. We're gonna do what you wanna do. You guys talk to the public more so than we do, so.
So what are we doing tonight? Change anything, any verbiage, anything like that? Or we just move on to Thursday?
And
We have
I'm
to make.
confused which one is being
I might be looking at this totally wrong, but, you know, given Plan A, which I like the stipend, I do. But if we give, and I understand we've got to get everybody's salaries up, to give the teachers a stipend of 500, turn around and give support a stipend of 500 and a 1%.
Right.
But no, hold on, no,
Right,
I
yeah.
don't, we can't,
Can't do
there-
that.
those aren't apples and apples.
Right.
You can't, we have to keep that in mind, okay? Like one of the reasons that we spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on HVAC techs is because we're paying tens of thousands of dollars a year less than what the market pays these people and we can't hire them. You know, we're paying, like Ashley said, Ms. Carpenter said, you know, a lot of our support people are making minimum wage, if not slightly above that. So like, I understand what you're talking about, but we're also not talking about the same numbers in any realm.
Yeah, when you compare the.
So like, giving a 1% raise in the stipend to a sports person who makes $8 an hour,
For instance, a support person's salary, $17,000.
yeah, so like, let's just keep
12 in
that,
some of them.
like, I just don't think that we need to put them all together, I guess is what I'm saying, because in doing that, like, I just don't, that's not reality. I don't know how to really say that, but it's just,
So,
I
so what are we exactly looking at?
Okay, so what Mr. Holly
What's
has,
on the table right now?
okay, what's on the table right now and what was brought forward by Mr. Holly is 1% for support staff, correct? And then keep the teacher salary, the schedule the same, and give them a $2,000, no amount. Okay, and give the teachers a one-time bonus for the year.
Of approximately $500?
Of 500. There is no approximate.
Okay, 500.
And that, which would be, you suggested giving between
Judge.
December and January.
Based
That was
off
just-
what we talked about
That's,
last month.
okay.
I felt like we were going in the stipend direction because in my mind, I'm hearing the conversation 1% really didn't translate. Now, I think we moved away from that, possibly looking at a 1% on both categories. And so either.
So let's,
or
before you go, that was option A. Let's call that option A.
That's option A,
Okay.
exactly. 1% for both.
Now, option B.
Option A is 1% for both. No supplement, no one-time payment. Option B, 1% for support, supplement or one-time payment for teachers, possibly support, which I think is support, is.
Yes.
So say it one more time. Option A is,
Fair enough.
No, I'm,
no, that's
make sure
fine.
I'm
No,
saying
I'm
it
just
correctly.
making sure. I'm just making
I'm gonna
sure.
write it down.
I am too. So A equals 1% for support staff. Okay? And a $500
And teachers.
and,
So 1% for both.
1% for both. 1% for both, no one-time payment.
and no one-time payment. B is
1%
1% for support.
support.
One-time payment for teachers and support.
Oh, one time for support and teachers. Okay, got you.
1%
question.
plus the 500 for support and certified, which are the teachers,
is the $500 one-time payment.
One-time payment of $500 for both support and teachers, with a 1% raise for support. That's Plan B.
It's planned.
Clarification, define teacher.
Certified teacher.
Anybody on a
Certified.
certified schedule.
Then we
Certified teacher.
Then we need to specify certified.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought that was understood, certified.
No.
Yeah, certified teacher.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if we didn't have the money, where does that extra, maybe I missed something.
The extra's coming from that 10, 20, 30. Most of your people on your support side are coming from your AV funds. Where most of your certified staff is coming from your general fund.
And so what I'm hearing from you is, based on your input from out in the teachers and support staff, is they favor a one-time $500 bonus.
But they are currently teachers. I understand where you're coming back with the 1% for optics for both. And then it makes a difference as you gain levels. So, I mean, what's best for our people, I am 100% behind, but from what I've heard, it's been the one-time payment goes long.
It goes further
Yes.
in
In
the immediate situation.
Tangible.
Long-term, that's kind of,
Now, it could be, I just asked Ms. Archer if we can make a motion, present to consider revise a revision of teacher salary containing option A or option B and support salary schedule. So we could make a motion to have both options available for Thursday night, giving ourselves a couple of days, and then deciding after getting some more input, is that possible? Motion to consider the revision of the teacher's salary schedule and support salary schedule at the Thursday regular bond meeting. So we can come back having A and B and having a little bit more.
Yeah, the only thing that I would recommend, so on the one hand, it's a 1% increase, on the other hand, it's a $500 bonus, right? The only thing that I would say is that our support misses out on $500 in that option A. So if we give everybody just 1%, I still would like to do, I would like to keep them essentially the same. You see, both options the same. Because I understand the optics side of it, like that's what we're trying, I
That's
understand
right.
what we're trying to accomplish there. Because like our certified personnel in A or B gets the same amount of money. In A,
Right.
our support don't get the same amount, they get just 1%. In B, they get 1% of 500. Tracking with me? So I'd like to see that support gets the same amount of money in either option.
I think that's,
Especially if it's budgeted, we have the money, like you say.
and that can be done.
Yes.
But
Yes, because like I said, the majority of our support staff is gonna be from our AV, where that 10, 20, and 30, where we just discussed, is not going to happen.
so option A would be 1% for support, 1% for certified teachers. And the support would get a $500 one-time stipend. Option B would be 1% for support only, and both certified teacher and support would get a $500. Are we all agreed that that's what A and B? Is that correct?
It's the same thing, I think.
Yeah, you confused me, I think that's.
Well, no, A, we added $500 to
That
it.
was my recommendation. That was my, so we don't have to do that. I was just making a recommendation, so.
I'm just repeating what Garrett said.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Right.
So I do want to just say this though,
No, no.
and we used the term, we've used the term optics. I want to just be sure that everybody out there listening, watching understands that. The board's not doing it just for the optics, right? There is substance to this 1% raise, right? So I just want to make sure that we understood that. I know Mr.
Well,
Green
optics is-
wasn't meaning it that way, but I just want to
But
say.
it is a retention. I mean, it's a teacher retention
No, I
recruitment. I mean, that's I'm using your word, optics, when you say, so
No,
it's a
no.
retention
I
recruit.
don't
Yeah,
mind the word
right.
optics. I just want to make sure that the public understands that as a board, we're not worried
It's not about looking good.
I'm not, I'm not worried about looking good. I'm not worried
There's
about,
truly some substantive.
I'm
to the-
trying to
the
make
wage,
us
yeah.
competitive with everybody
Yes.
out there in the state as far as,
Well, and not only that, but remember
yeah.
Ms. Lafitte, we were saying as well, based on the presentation we did last month, without the state, the parish itself, because we're talking the parish is doing this. The parish hasn't been able to do anything, I think, what was it, since 2016? So, I mean, in a while. So if the state isn't able to do anything, at least you are discussing of how we're able to do this.
How
and
we're
you're not
able-
just jumping the
we're not-
gun.
right.
You know, we're trying to do something when the state.
I think that speaks volume that we're even talking about at least trying to do something. That's my,
Is-
and right.
Is Mr. Green's option a C? Is it something different,
That's
right?
different,
Is
ain't
that
it?
what I heard? It's different than A and B, correct? Look,
I just,
No, that's totally different.
good.
No,
well, it's
let's
not a
just
bad
keep
option.
it,
I want to give it some,
I think there's only A and B.
there's only
Yeah,
A and
the only
B.
thing I suggested was just making it so that support
gets a little bit.
Either way.
gets the same no matter what.
What group?
Because teachers get the same no matter what.
Regular procedure.
But
Right.
depending on what we choose for support, they don't get the same. So all that I was trying to say is like, let's make each option the
Make
same.
it 50/50.
Yeah, so that's all that I
For
was.
support, each option's going to be the same.
Ms. Carver, does the 1% raise on the teachers positively impact the retirement system more so than a $500 payment? Or are they equally?
It's gonna depend on where they're at on that salary scale, because it is different, based upon where they're at on those levels.
One thing,
Our cost as a parish to that salary is gonna be different based upon where a teacher is on their levels, instead of $500. A teacher at a master 30 plus at 28 years is gonna be much more expensive at a 1% pay raise than to just give them a $500 one-time payment.
So the 0 to 5 would be a lot less than 10, 15 years.
two off-the-wall questions. It's based off of this schedule only, so no other multipliers or anything. It's based off of these numbers.
Correct, there's only 1% added to that, to the 22-23 schedule.
And one thing, it just, my slow brain, 1% is gonna be different for each level.
Yes. because
So
every-
a 0 level, 1% is gonna be less than a 28. So with that said, would it be more incentive because as you move up
Mr.
levels,
Green, do you have your,
you're gonna,
can I see your green folder? Nope, the other one.
So and we're only talking the 1%, right now. We're not talking anything future that if we're.
but the way I'm looking at it is a teacher, let's say they're at, 0, they get 1%, it's gonna be X amount. Well, when they move up, that's gonna be figured into the schedule, so they're gonna get a little bit more.
Right.
Because it's gonna adjust by.
But you can compare, if you look at the one versus, if you can compare over, it's really, no matter which level you're on, it's about $500 difference all the way.
I think
all the way
28 is
through.
530, yeah, 531 or something like that.
We did 1%. This was in the green folder that I gave you all last month. If you looked
Yeah.
at that bar to the side, your
So it
changes in
ranges,
salary.
it ranges anywhere from level 1, it'd be $400, 1% would be $400.
Yes.
Level 28 would be $538.
Yes.
So it'd
Right.
range between
It ranges.
$400 and $538.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's regroup. So our two options. Option A is 1% for support plus a $500 one-time bonus and a 1% raise for certified teachers. That's option A. Option B, 1% for support with a $500 bonus. And then for certified teachers, a one-time $500 stipend. That's it. And salary schedule will stay the same for certified teachers. Those are our two.
So really, the the way that I see it, the only difference is whether we give the teachers $500
$100
or we
or a
do a
1%
1%
raise.
raise.
That's
really,
the only
to me,
difference.
that's the only
That is the
difference.
only difference.
And that's what they're saying, that, you know, they could do something, you know, I like to have things that I can show for my money, you know, I can go spend that $500.
But I'm trying to
and
get
have
them
it
to see this is a 1% raise that is going to be from now on. And so that 1% may not seem like, but then next year they're moving up and each level increases. I'm trying to
They're
think
not
forward
They're
here.
not guaranteed.
And they're not guaranteed. I mean, we may not can give them $500 next year, and you have stayed the same salary for 2 years.
You may forget to bring it back up.
We may
Like,
forget to bring it
There's a
back
million
up.
things that we have to worry about.
There's-
So I mean,
right.
it's not that we don't want to, it's just, it may just
Right.
slip our minds.
So
too,
therefore, if you get $500,
1% now, then we know we'll have.
we know we have to do it for next year. We have to do it from now on. And like she said, we haven't been able to do this since 2016. And to say, and I know, I wanted to see that down the road, the big picture, that this is going to be a good thing. So,
And I think if we
I
were
don't-
talking,
that's-
and I think if we were talking about a higher percentage, we wouldn't be talking about a one-time payment, we'd be talking about substantially changing their salary schedule, right? So,
I look at it too, is, you know, let's say 2 years down the road, we say we're in a position where we could possibly do another 1%. Now you're getting 1% on top of the 1% you already
1%,
got.
exactly. And this is not promising we can do it next year, but we may
No.
can do 0.5% the year after that. And I just want to be able to look back in 4 years and go, this is what we did as a board. We were able to increase salaries maybe 2 or 2.5 or 3%. I'm just being, I'm being,
Well, I'm gonna do whatever
I'm being
my
very
teachers want.
optimistic, but I'm just at least putting out there that we're trying, that we're building on something that's going to be a foundation and not just one time.
yeah, and everybody.
That's my- yeah.
Every teacher, every support person, everybody needs to understand what this looks like.
That's our
Because
vision.
there
We
is a
talk
difference.
about our vision, and I just feel like this is kind of our vision out there that we've kind of all,
So we said we can sustain the 1%
Going forward.
going forward. I mean, that, yeah.
Ms. Ashley, do you have a rough estimate of what it is going to cost to do this 1% raise for teachers?
I don't have, I'm not in front of me, I do not. It's built into the budget, so that's how
I was just curious, because when people say they want to raise, I think it would be advantageous for us to be able to say, well, I would too, but it's going to cost us $5
I
million.
mean, I can pull it for Thursday.
Just an estimate,
I
just
can
a,
grab it.
I
I
appreciate
can
it.
pull it on average and pull
Because I think
however
sometimes
many teachers we've got.
there's a misconception that it's not.
Yeah,
Because
but we don't
I
want to
think
do it.
Everybody
Yeah.
forgets too, I mean, it's not just a teacher's salary. There's the cost to pay them that salary.
right.
From that salary, we have to pay them our share of the retirement. We have to pay them our share of whatever of their insurances. I mean, so it can be very expensive. So I can pull that and I will have a rough estimate on Thursdays.
Thank you.
Mr. Hawley, thank you for bringing that to us. But, you know, I've slipped since last month, and so I'm rethinking, you know, what we talked
Yeah, I
about
appreciate
last
the
month.
discussion overall.
I like it.
It's a good, so do I hear a motion?
I would like to make a motion that Ms. Archer had captured,
Okay.
if she could read it for us.
It's a motion to consider the revision of the teacher salary schedule and the support salary schedule as a Thursday regular board meeting. It's basically what it says.
It's kicking the can.
It's kicking the can, kicking the can. So
I'll second it.
who made the motion? I need a motion.
Right.
Oh, you made the motion, okay.
But you say this, sooner or later, our legs gonna get tired.
I agree,
Kicking
Mr.
the can.
Chair, kicking the can.
Well, we can't vote on it tonight anyway.
We're not kicking it past Thursday.
Yeah, we're settling it on Thursday.
Okay, I think that is the end of it.
Yeah, call the vote.
Oh, all in, I'm sorry, golly. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move to the agenda on Thursday, okay. Your turn, Mr. Green.
Be brief. All right, at this time, I'll call the policy committee meeting to order. The committee members, the voting members are myself, Ms. Neely, David Shirley, Mr. Shirley, Ms. Lafitte, and Mr. Kivido. Item number one is to consider approval of the minutes of the March 6, 2023 Policy Committee meeting as written. Those should be in your packet.
In your packet here. I'll make a-
Any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
All right, motion by Ms. Lafitte. Can I get a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Kivido. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All right, item number two, to consider revision of policy file BH, school board ethics, and waive the waiting period.
All right, good evening, everyone. Actually, item 2 and 3 are going to be asked of you to approve the same addition. It is one sentence that is found in both of the policies under the training portion of that policy. And I believe this comes from a finding of the audit that needs to make us compliant. And it is written in blue there under the training. It says, all record of annual trainings will be kept on file with the school administrator and with the director of personnel. We were doing that, covering our bases, now put in policy to make sure that that our policy follows the law. It's already been practiced and done. So we just had to update it.
We just had to have it in writing.
Okay.
Ms. Crane has everything, we just needed it to say it in the book.
Crazy question, because I don't know, what is the standard waiting period should we not waive it?
30 days, next month.
Okay.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Okay, is there any other questions? Now, as he said, these two items are the exact same verbiage on both those, so the chair would entertain a very quick vote on both of those. Can we get a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion on items 2 and 3 to approve.
And I'll
Do
second.
that.
Okay, got a motion for both from Mr. Kivido, motion for a second by Ms. Lafitte. Can I get a vote? All in favor? Aye. Okay, items 2 and 3 do pass. Item number 4, to consider new policy file GBAA, compensation guidelines and overtime, and waive the waiting period.
Right, so this is a new policy. I am going to ask Ms. Harper to come up and answer any questions. This also came out of a finding of what we probably did not have covering us for some, I guess, parish-wide procedures. We had some practices that were done. They weren't exactly the same across different schools. The need came up to review this policy, and truthfully could not find this in writing. Interesting little story on this is doing some digging when she came to me, hey, where's this policy? Started doing some digging, had 2 or 3 of my go-tos. Actually ended up having to call Noel at Forethought, and she said this policy came before the board in 2009, but was not acted on.
Wow.
So I asked for that copy of that, and it became quickly apparent that 2009 version of the Fair Practice and Standards Law was not applied. There were so many additions, so we basically started from scratch. So this should get you caught up with what is going on now as far as what state requires of us to have for comp time and that kind of deal. But if you have any questions, I'll let our financial guru take care of that.
You can read through it if you have any questions. This is pretty much copied for verbatim from the Louisiana legislative law. That's the safest way for us to follow it. Our biggest piece that we wanted to be able to keep in here was for our comp time policy, because we did actually, that was our main goal with all of this, because we wanted to have a comp time policy. So, like Mr. Joslin had said, I asked him if we had one, and it brought us down a rabbit hole, and we ended in Wonderland. So, here's where we are, if you want to peek through it, and if you have any questions, let me know.
You can ask quick.
So what does the comp time look like?
What does our comp time look like?
And I ask this because I'm a salaried exempt employee. I get to earn comp time for any hour over 40 hours. Okay? Now that's straight time pay, right? But I can bank my comp time. I cash it out, I can do whatever So, with an understanding that our employees, if they're truly salaried versus salaried exempt, how's the comp time gonna be applied to those employees with said titles?
You might have to help me with, remind me of exempt and non-exempt. Because I always get them confused. Okay, so we are exempt or non-exempt? Are we exempt or non-exempt? Thank you. Okay, so our exempt employees are our employees that clock in and out. So will go our bookkeepers, our custodians, all of those people. They have their timesheets, their clock-ins, and their clock-outs. They are our people that have the ability to accrue comp time. Any of us, our teachers, do not clock in and out. They do not have the ability to accrue comp time.
You said you're non-exempt or you're salaried?
We are non-exempt.
So you're
We are
coming out-
salaried, non-exempt.
Okay,
that's-
salary non-exempt.
So are teachers exempt or not exempt?
They're non-exempt.
Teachers are non-exempt.
So that's backwards in here.
Where is it?
On page 2, it says exempt learning professionals such as teachers are also classified as exempt.
Yeah, I think you're just
Am I just
misstating the
saying that
word. Yeah.
backwards?
Yeah, I think you're just saying it.
Okay,
So-
I'm
Can
sorry,
you-
I
I'm
got
saying it
confused.
backwards.
Can anyone outside of maintenance or support earn time and a half?
No.
No, only hourly paid employees.
Okay, so I guess I'm really unaware of how it's gonna look comp time. How's the teacher or how's a exempt employee gonna accrue comp time? How does that look for them?
So they can't accrue comp time without having prior authorization.
Okay,
So once they clock out, and if they need to stay later to get a job done, custodian, bookkeeper, however it is, they have to have that authorization from their principal.
okay,
They cannot just accrue it.
okay.
There is a limit to what they can accrue as well. There is also not a carryover. You are only allowed to carry over so much of it if you are carrying it over. We also come before myself, comp time was kept on paper. So in this, it is now, has to be kept in our financial software. Nobody can be paid out their comp time unless I see auditable comp time records. So that means I want to see timesheets, they have to be signed by the principal. It's not just, we're gonna give somebody 244 hours of straight time comp time and they're gonna get paid out for it.
Yeah.
So
So where's that kept? Is that
where is what kept? Each
The-
school, their
that
comp
stat-
time,
Their comp time,
bookkeepers have to keep, every school has a designated comp time person.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and comp time cannot get put into our financial software unless it has those timesheets. Those timesheets have to be signed by the employee and by the principal.
Okay,
They're signing off on that.
yep. Okay.
And recently this year, we went through and audited every school's comp time as we were doing this policy. That was really what started most of this.
Okay, so that's kind of, when you talk about there hasn't historically been something on the books with this, it's because y'all started looking into comp time excess, if you want to call it that, or
Well,
like,
I wanted to know what, as people work, because when people resign, they have the right to
Sure.
request their comp time. So Selena, our payroll accountant, coming from the private sector, wanted to know if we had a comp time policy, what is the limit? And
Yeah.
as we're looking through our policy, we didn't find one, we couldn't find one, so that was what started this whole process.
But there was, in practice, a limit to the amount that you could accrue but it was left
It was-
to,
There was a practice, it was just not in policy.
So then in policy, some might have lost.
Nobody's lost anything, no.
It's just, they've just codified it,
No,
right?
no.
You've codified our practice, correct?
Yes, yep. This way, somebody cannot say, I have 36 hours of comp time, but I don't have any time records, can I still get paid out it? No. Per policy, I don't have to, because you don't have what is being required of you for that comp time.
so this established a more direct.
More
Strict
thorough.
and direct guideline, yes.
Okay.
I think that's what Mr. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. This is, I may actually use this with my employees, so, so it's a great policy, so it's a good policy, so good job.
Legislative auditor.
Yeah.
It's a great website.
Oh,
Get
okay.
anything from
Oh,
it.
man,
It's
good to
all
know.
there.
Good to know. All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the new policy, compensation guidelines and overtime, and waive the waiting period.
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Lafitte? Second. Mr. Thibodeau, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. There's not anything else? Any other housekeeping, Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, so we have 3 candidates that applied for assistant superintendent. Ms. Crane and I visited about when can we do those interviews. So I first looked at June the 19th, but that is a federal holiday, Juneteenth. So looking at the next Monday, Monday, June the 26th. Approximately, Ms. Green, did we say about 2:30? 2:30. I've asked a couple of you already just because it came up in conversation, but Monday, June 26th, 2:30. Everybody looks good with that?
I'm not gonna be here, but I'm fine with that.
Wise man. All right. So I guess that we will.
So you said 3 candidates?
Yes, sir. So I do want to go ahead, Ms. Green, yes.
Well, I have a couple of questions, because I have to
Okay.
send out letters of times of interview. If you were going to meet at 2:30, the start time is at 2:30.
So we're-
You will need time to look over questions and determine which questions you will be asking. So my question to you is, what time is your first interview?
So now that we've gone through this process once, do we need an hour and 40 minutes? Is that how long we took last time to compile our questions?
I would say a half hour.
So
Do you still
let's-
have our
I know, do
packets
you
of
still have our
questions?
questions?
I
That would be
have,
helpful too.
the way I have compiled the questions that you used last time, in addition to other questions, I have put one question on a page. That way, you can pull the questions that you want to ask and put those aside and use that as your note-taking page. And all the other ones, you can just disregard, get rid of those. I've also highlighted in your packet that you will receive on that date the questions that you asked last time. So you will know exactly, and I will go back over all of that with you. So the process, unless you want to do a lot of changing to your questions or pull in new questions, the process should be, pretty quick if you like. I think there's about 16 different questions that are an option for you. But, you can ask what you want to ask, but, if you use some of those, you could pull those very quickly and get started, just for thought.
Will we get those resumes or, before?
Yes, ma'am. As soon as I find out
June
exactly what you want to do, Thursday night, I will have an agenda of applicant's name and the times. And I will also have, the application for each applicant in a packet for you to take home and start reviewing that. Yes, ma'am.
So can we do that in less than an hour, or should we maintain?
I would say 3:15, 45 minutes should be
Yeah,
plenty.
45.
I would say
I'm willing.
I think
I'm
that's
willing.
reasonable.
So 3:15 would be the first start with 1 hour segments devoted to each candidate.
Date again, I'm sorry, June 25th.
Oh, yep.
Do you
And-
want,
With a 15, do we want to put a 15 minutes in between each
Yes,
candidate?
yes. I gotta get my sandwich in there somewhere,
So the second interview would be 4:30 if I'm doing my math correctly, and then 5:45. Wrap up interviews before 7 o'clock, and then start the process of voting. Anything else on that?
What was the initial meetup time, did you say?
2:30.
June 26, 2:30. First interview, 3:15.
Vote on that.
We don't have to vote on it. We're just setting it. Okay. I think that was the only thing that I had. Do remember to come at 5 o'clock this Thursday, if you can make it. And we're going to have Head Start training till about 5:45-ish. And then at 6 o'clock, we will have public forum. The public can comment on the budget. And in the actual, there'll be 15 minutes devoted for that. And then at 6:15, the actual board meeting will start.
Okay. You know, those of us that won't be here Thursday, how do we make up this Head Start training?
I don't think it's mandatory for individuals. No, it's, the board needs to be trained, not individually.
As long as we have a quorum.
Yeah.
How are we advertising, per se, the duration for the public to come and have a comment on the?
Typically on the agenda, and I haven't looked at the top of it, but it typically has 5:45 public comment.
I guess what I'm asking, though, is have we addressed the issue of how we put the agenda out? Instead of just posting it on the board out here.
So that would
So we
put
can.
it on a social
Okay.
media.
Okay, I wasn't following your question,
I'm
sorry.
I'm not being real clear tonight.
Okay. Any questions? All right. A motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
All right, see you Thursday.